You know, those moments where something just clicks and then begins this process of a slow burn of everything that has felt like a scattered puzzle without the box, but then starts to come together. And all of a sudden, you start to see the picture form. And then everything you've been doing suddenly makes sense. Well, that's what happened with me and something called the Groove Truths. I just got finished teaching a fantastic online Zoom groove class, and it made me think about how this all started. So I wanted to share with you. And what is kind of funny about all of this is that I'd been doing body groove for about a year before I even knew that the groove truths existed. I was just moving and dancing and healing and grooving without realizing there was an entire philosophy behind it. When I did finally learn the 5 groove truths, it was like someone handed me a language for not only what I was already feeling in my body, but also how I approach my job as a coach for singers and performers. That moment started when I went to Mexico for my very first groove retreat. I'd been doing body groove for probably over a year, which is the online home version that I did right here in my living room. But I'd never actually been to an in-person groove class because there was nobody in my area that offered it. And that Mexico retreat was the first time I actually got to groove with people in person. It was the first time I heard the groove truths mentioned at all, and it was a first for a lot of things actually, which was really awesome. Well, after that retreat, I decided to go all in and become a groove facilitator. So during the training, we learned about the 5 groove truths, and we went even of course even deeper into them about how they guide the class, what how they show up in the cues and bit of music. And as I started to learn about them and how they're used in facilitating groove classes, I had this kind of big light bulb because I was like, hold on, I already kind of teach this. I kind of already say all of these things to my students already. And these groove truths mirrored what I already believed about singing and performing. I just hadn't found the words yet. So, this video is actually about how the 5 groove truths became part of my own philosophy, not only in groove classes, but in how I coach singers and performers every single day. And honestly, I'm finding that I'm practicing them more and more in my own just everyday personal life. Because when you really live these truths, you stop performing to impress or prove something, and you can start performing to actually just express something. So here are the 5 groove truths. Number 1 is nobody cares what you look like. Nobody cares what you look like dancing, and if they do, it's their problem. Say that again with me. It's their problem. I'm not going to lie, that one still gets me because as a performer, I care what things look like, right? We have a visual image in our brain of how things should look. But the truth is, the audience doesn't always just want polished. They want present. They want to see you feel something real. And every time I forget that myself, I have to remind myself people aren't necessarily watching for perfect, they're watching for permission. Now, groove truth number 2 is your way is the right way. When you do it your way, you can't get it wrong. All of these I'm still working on because my instinct is to do it the right way, whatever the right way is, the smart way, the professional way, the everybody else is doing it way. But artistry is not about doing it right. It's about being real. So when I sing or coach or dance my way, even when it's messy, it will land deeper. And when I see my clients do that, it's magic. And they feel it too, because the moment they can stop copying, they finally start connecting. Now, groove truth number 3 is that you are unique. You should look different, so don't copy anyone else. This one, in a sense, rewired me and rejuvenated me because I used to think blending in meant I was being professional. Your quirks, your accent, your rhythm, your look, they're not mistakes. They're your fingerprint. They're who you are. You know, I used to I'm born and raised in Georgia. I used to try to smooth out my Southern drawl when I sang, But why? I let it come through now. It's part of my story. It's part of who I am. And that is what authenticity is. It's the courage to keep what is real and lean into it and own it. Now, number 4 is that no one can do it for you. That's the hard truth that gets me out of bed on days when it's hard, because we can have all the mentors, the playlists, the visions, the coaches, the influencers, teachers that we want. But at the end of the day, I have to be the one who shows up. I have to be the one who gets out of bed and goes do the thing. And there's going to be resistance. And I'm still learning to move through the resistance, to sing when I don't feel ready, to go do yard work when I don't feel like, to make messy videos like this and just post it. No one can do it for you, but they can walk beside you while you do it. And that's what I'm looking to create with this Groove-ment community. And the last groove truth, number 5, is that none of these principles work unless you put them into practice. And this one keeps me grounded. It's one thing to talk about freedom. It's another to practice it while the camera's rolling, and or when self-doubt shows up. You practice showing up until your body trusts you again. You practice letting go until freedom starts to feel familiar. And some days, a lot of days, still feels hard, but that's what makes it art. And that's what makes it alive. These 5 truths, along with my 6 pillars of Groove-ment, is what became the foundation of my Groove-ment for Performers workshop. They help remind me, and I hope will share with you, that authenticity isn't something you master. It's something you return to over and over. It's something you come back to. So if you're a singer, performer, or a creative soul learning to trust yourself again, I'd love for you to come join me and let me maybe help you walk beside you as you find that for yourself. Once a month, I host what I call Groove-ment Labs. They're online, they are free, donation based, and it's where we explore these truths together. You don't have to come prepared, you just show up. I'll share the link down below. It's an opportunity for us to practice being real together. Friends, you don't have to earn your right to move, to sing, or take up space. You just have to keep showing up as you. So go be awesome. Keep getting your groove on, rock on, and I'll see you at the next lab.